Guys, so here's what we got going on today. It came in. This one's from D.S.B.D. I saw a guy that was talking about his. He said that he had some issues with his, but then I went down in the comments and everyone was saying they didn't have an issue. So I decided, hey, this was only a couple bucks. You know, I think it was like 80 bucks for this thing. I was like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Bought it. So I now have it mounted in my my little trim piece here, or bezel, dash bezel. And the way I ended up having to do it was just trim the little brackets that come with it so you can mount it. And then I took a chisel and a hammer. That's why you see these little score marks right here, because I put the chisel there, tap it. Put the chisel there, tap it. Put the chisel there, tap it. And I just tapped this down. I did the same on the other side here. That way, it's basically just hugging itself against the bezel here. So all I have to do is, I've already wired this up. This is super simple. I mean, all you got to do is just read the... each one of these wires tells you what it's for. Every single one of them. I mean, it's that simple. But I'm about to plug this in. That's going to be the challenging part, plugging it in. But once I get it plugged in, I will get back with you guys and show you what it looks like, what it does, if it turns on. I mean, my guess is as good as yours. There's the old unit. I plan on putting that in my 150. That way, whomever buys my F-150 doesn't have to worry about the headache of the cheap Walmart dual radio that's in it. It's a nightmare. It's a headache. It works. It's just a pain in the butt. So anyway, let me go ahead and install this, and I will be right back. Alright guys, and we're back. Of course, this one's set up a little different than my wife's radio. What I do like, let me turn this torch off, or flashlight. I want to show you guys something. Check that out. This side over here is changing color, so I'm assuming if I go into the menu, I'll be able to pick and choose what color I want, and naturally I'll want it to blend in with everything else in here. So I'll be choosing the green, of course. So I mean, so far, I mean, that's in there good and solid. I'm able to pull on, you know, tug on it, and it's not falling apart. So I mean, the true test is going down the road, you know, when the county doesn't take care of these gravel roads. And I mean, I'm going down there and it feels like I'm just bouncing. It's worse than being on rumble strips. I mean, it looks like rumble strips, but to a greater degree. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. This radio startup seems pretty awesome. I need to figure out how to connect it to my home internet, which is probably going to be that right there at the top. And I'll connect it so when I'm sitting here, I'll be able to, you know, do web searches or whatever instead of having to pull out my phone. I'll already be in the truck. I can get it done that way. But, I mean, it's way too soon for me to give any updates on how good it is or anything like that. But I mean, of course, I will update you guys once I get more used to using this thing. But you can definitely tell it's slightly different. The interface is slightly different than my wife's, but she's happy with hers. Everything works on it as it should. There's not an issue with it at all. She has no complaints, and I actually love... Let me turn this torch back on. I keep calling it a torch. I know it's a flashlight, but I keep calling it a torch because that's what it says on my screen. Anyway, as you can see, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, I still have access to closing and opening my vents on the driver's side. There's a bunch of sticky stuff down in there I need to clean in there. But as well as on the passenger side, that one, you know, everything works as it should. Of course, I still have access to my knobs here, you know. It's not in the way by any means necessary. It's just that here's the driver's point of view. So, I mean, you have to take into consideration, you better know your switches here. Really, the only thing that you can't see is the off and the face vent, and then the face and leg vent. That's really all you can't see. So, but I know this truck. I mean, I know what vents are there. So, you know, if I just want to put it on my face, you know, it's one click to the counterclockwise. Or if you want your face and legs, it's clockwise to the right from off. So it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. Like I said, I will, when I get more familiarized with this unit, I will, of course, give an update. So far, it seems pretty cool. And I also noticed that there's a speedometer on here. I didn't know that. It showed kilometers. I'll change that to miles. That'll be pretty cool to be able to, if that's what I'm looking at, to be able to see how fast I'm going via the radio. I know you can download an app for that. I mean, you could download an app just to check, but what I'm planning on doing, probably here in the next few months, I plan on buying a TPMS sensor, because all of my tires are brand new. I mean, they have less than 1,000 miles on them. So I plan on getting TPMS sensor that'll go on my rims. I want the kind that goes on the inside, not the tacky one that goes on your stem, your valve stems. But I want the one that goes inside the tire, inside the rims. And then get a kit that hooks up to the back of this radio. And that way I can figure out what tire has what PSI in it. I mean, of course, I'm pretty good at looking at a tire and be like, hey, that's a little underinflated. But I want to know exact, you know, precise. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. There are more updates to come. I will not be filming myself installing this radio into my 150. But let's find out what brand this is, because I was telling you guys, I think it's a JBL or something. It does not say. I don't know what brand this is. I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm used to just grabbing a radio and installing the thing. That's pretty much it. You would think it would be stamped on here somewhere, but it's not. It's probably not a JBL since it's not stamped on here. I know high-end radios usually will have their brand, you know, stamps either somewhere on the plastic or the underside or the backside, sometimes the top side, but there's no information about this unit whatsoever. So it's probably just some cheapie that the previous owners installed. I am glad that they used an adapter instead of just cutting the wires and then splicing directly into it. I hate it when people do that. I don't really have much room to talk, because my very first radio that I installed back when I was 17, that's what I did. I cut the wires, because back then I didn't know, hey, you can get an adapter. That way you plug it into your wiring harness from the factory, and then you wire up the wires from the radio. And then if you ever want to sell your vehicle, and the person is like, oh, you know, I'd be interested in buying it if it didn't have that aftermarket radio. But, hey, man, I could swap that out in less than 15 minutes. You know, give me 5 minutes. I can pop that bezel off, pull the old or the aftermarket, stick the original back on. That's the purpose of doing that. And it's just a much cleaner and more professional way of going about it. I know people do what they got to do to get by if you're limited on money. The way I look at it, if you can shell out 85 bucks at a minimum for a radio, and some of these radios go up to $500. I've seen some that are $1,000. If you've got that kind of money to shell out on a head unit, you can shell out anywhere from $5 to $30 for an adapter, because that's what they average. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I've jaw-jacked enough, but I need to go back inside and get the instruction manual and see if I can brush up on how this unit operates, because like I said, I was basically doing it blindly with my wife's head unit, because it didn't come with an instruction manual. It just came in a box. That was it. But this one probably shouldn't be that different. So like I said, once I learn it, I'll be giving an update. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Later, Gators.